SRH as a team has a complete new look and with a new captain in Aiden Markram. They will, of course, be starting off with their opening pair, the right and left combination of Mayank Agarwal and Abhishek Sharma, followed by Rahul Tripathi. At 4 will be Markram himself, followed by the big buy of Harry Brook. Then will be the keeper, who will either be Klassen or Glenn Phillips. This is where I feel that SRH may have missed a trick. They do not have an Indian experienced keeper. Now, with Klassen or Phillips taking up one slot and then Markram and Brooks, SRH will be left with only one slot for a foreign player, which will essentially be taken up by either Adil Rashid or Marco Jansen, depending upon pitch conditions. What this will all mean is that a lot of the bowling will rest on Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, the fit and form of Natarajan, and of course the pace of Umran Malik. They have a fabulous all-rounder in Washington Sundar. SRH as a team is looking good, and I'm definitely rooting for them to make it to the playoffs this year. After a very poor performance in last year's IPL, CSK would definitely want to prove to everyone why they're a champion side. I think the big plus for CSK is the number of all-rounders they have. Ravindra Jadeja, Moeen Ali, Shivam Dube, Dwayne Pretorius, and this year Ben Stokes. I hear that Ben Stokes may not be bowling much this year, but the kind of a player that he is, any team would want to have him in their squad. The problem area for CSK, though, is because of injury, Jamieson is missing, which will essentially mean that a lot of the bowling responsibility will rest on Deepak Chahar, and he will need to be supported by the likes of Solanki, Mukesh Chaudhary, and Simarji. They have a fabulous spinner in Mahesh Deekshana. But for CSK to do well this year, right at the top, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devin Conway will need to fight. CSK is one of the teams I'm definitely rooting for to make it to the playoffs. Last year was not a flash in the pan. This is what GT would want to say to all the other teams because they would want to win again this year. GT will most likely open with Riddhiman Saha and Shubman Gill and then have someone like Kane Williamson at one down. Pandya is, of course, their able captain and all-rounder who will come in at number 4, followed by David Miller and, of course, Tewatia. Now, one of the problems for GT is in the bowling area. They do not have a Lockie Ferguson this year, which will essentially mean that a lot of the heavyweight lifting in the bowling department will be done by Rashid Khan, Mohammad Shami, and maybe they will have to be supported by someone like Shivam Mavi and Yash Dayal. If they look to bring someone like Alzari Joseph into the scheme of things, then they'll have to do away with Matthew Wade. So that's a decision that GT will have to make depending upon pitch conditions. GT is once again a team that I am definitely rooting for to make it to the playoffs. Mumbai Indians would want to pull every trick in the book to wipe out the memories of last year's IPL. Well, they certainly have the firepower to do that in Rohit Sharma, Ishan Kishan, and of course the blue-eyed boy of T20 cricket, Sky. They have a very able batsman in Tilak Verma in the middle order, followed by big hitter Tim David. But when you lose a player like Bumrah, it will most definitely affect the balance of any team. What MI will look to do is play both Behrendorff and even Cam Green to compensate in the bowling area, which will essentially mean Archer, Behrendorff, Cam Green, and of course Tim David, all your 4 slots for the foreign players are taken. This will mean that someone like Brevis or even Stubbs will get less opportunities. What will make matters worse for MI is their lack of experience with the Indian bowlers. This is going to be a tough year for MI, and I for one believe that they will not make it for the playoffs. One of the things I really like about Rajasthan Royals is the fact that the core of their team is made up of Indian players. They have also been very consistent with their team selection. So it's anybody's guess that RR will open with Jaiswal and Joss Butler, followed by Sanju Samson, Devdutt Padikkal, and Hetmeyer, followed by Ryan Parag. For RR to do well, both Devdutt Padikkal and Ryan Parag will need to contribute a lot more than last year. Then, of course, you have the spin twins in Ashwin and Chahal, which leaves us with 3 more slots. RR will mostly go with Jason Holder and Obed McCoy. And of course, Kuldeep Sen will get lot many matches in the absence of Prasidh Krishna. RR for me will definitely make it to the playoffs. KKR for me is one of the weaker teams in this year's IPL. Losing their ace batsman and captain Shreyas Iyer only makes matters worse for them. But what will be very interesting to see is how someone like Nitish Rana will step up. KKR in all likelihood will open with Venkatesh Iyer and Liton Das, followed by Nitish Rana at one down. Their 4 and 5 in all likelihood will be Jagdishan and Rinku Singh, followed by Dhriras and Sunil Narayan. A lot of their bowling will depend upon Shardul Thakur, spinner Varun Chakravarti, Lockie Ferguson, and of course Umesh Yadav. This is going to be a tough year for KKR, and I doubt they'll make it for the playoffs unless someone like a Liton Das or maybe a Nitish Rana will have a fabulous season. Punjab Kings. Well, this is one team you never really know which side of Punjab Kings will turn up on a particular day. They always flatter to deceive. Well, let's hope that's not the case this year because we have a new captain in Shikhar Dhawan. Shikhar Dhawan himself needs to have a good season for Punjab Kings to do well. In all likelihood, Shikhar Dhawan, in the absence of Johnny Bairstow, will team up with Prabhsimran Singh, followed by Bhanuka and Liam Livingston. Then come the slots of 5, 6, and 7. And in all likelihood, it will be Shah Rukh Khan, Rishi Dhawan, maybe even Jitesh Sharma or Harpreet. They have two very strong pace bowlers in Sam Curran and Rabada. And of course, there's Arshdeep and the lone spinner Rahul Chahar. Punjab Kings may also look to give some opportunities to Sikandar Raza. All in all, it's going to be a tough season, and I, for one, believe that Punjab Kings will not make it to the playoffs. Delhi Capitals. Well, this is one team which looked super strong till they lost Rishabh Pant. Losing Pant messed with their balance of domestic and foreign players. Somebody like Nokia, David Warner, and Mitch Marsh, all three of them are sure starters. The fourth slot will go to Phil Salt as he will keep in place of Rishabh Pant. This will essentially mean that someone like Powell or Odion Smith or even Angidi will not get many opportunities. Now, if we have to look at the batting order, it will be Prithvi Shaw, David Warner, Mitch Marsh, Phil Salt. And then there will be the Indian players. It could be Manish Pandey or Sarfaraz or maybe even someone like Lalit Yadav. They have two very able bowlers in Kuldeep and Akshar Patel. Their pace bowling will of course be led by Nokia and ably supported by someone like Khalid and Sakaria. This is going to be a tough year for Delhi Capitals, but I'm still banking on them making it to the playoffs because I believe Prithvi Shaw will have a fabulous season. RCB. Well, what do I say? There are some teams in IPL which rely greatly on their Indian players like Rajasthan Royals, while there are others like Punjab Kings which rely more on their foreign players. RCB for me is a mix of both of these. On one hand, they have someone like Faf who had an average season last year. They're missing someone like Josh Hazelwood because of injury. They have Hasaranga who had a fabulous season. On the Indian front, there's King Kohli. There's DK who can do some amazing stuff. Then, of course, there's Mohammad Siraj and Harshal Patel who had an okay IPL. In the middle of all this, there is a bucket of players which consists of Maipal Lomro, Shahbaz, Anuj Rawat, Rajat Patidar. I believe all of these need to come good together for RCB to do well. As someone who resides in Bangalore, I'm definitely rooting for RCB to make it to the playoffs. But that is going to happen only if the heavyweight lifting is going to be done by someone like Faf, King Kohli, DK, Harshal Patel, and Mohammad Siraj. Lucknow Super Giants. How they will perform will depend a lot on their bowling because I believe they're a little short on their resources. In terms of their batting order, they will of course start off with KL Rahul, Quinton de Kock, Nicholas Puran, Ayush Badoni, followed by the three all-rounders Marcus Stoinis, Krunal Pandya, and Deepak Hooda. Their pace attack will be led by Mark Wood and supported by Jaydev Unadkat and Avish Khan. And of course, there is leg spinner Ravi Bishnoi. This, I believe, will be a tough year for Lucknow, and I will be surprised if they make it to the playoffs.